everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Jake.
Dude, it's a fucking mess in here.
Look, you're just lucky I showered for this. Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Jake.
And I'm Croog, and today we're here to talk to you about the Lizardfolk, the last ancestry that we have to go over in the Pathfinder 2nd edition. Nope.
I'm pretty sure it's also not the last ancestry. And the only reason we're going through these is because Caring Lizard has complained enough about it that we've decided to do it.
It is actually a pretty interesting ancestry, so it is kind of an exciting thing to talk about. We will in the future.
All right, so let's get into it. We're going to go into the Lizardfolk.
I decided to add a short little section at the beginning that's just discussing like role play stuff. This is like a baseline for an entire ancestry. Your character might be different. It's not restricting you in any way, shape, or form. It's just some fun little tidbits about the culture. So the first interesting thing is that Lizardfolk actually have a different like native name. Do you want to tell us what that is, Indigo?
Iruxi.
I can't tell.
Iruxi.
That was my first instinct, but knowing the way that this normally goes for us, it's probably Iruxi.
It's probably like Ruxinga. Just listen to what I say and just realize that that's how you say it from now on.
We're the ones with the YouTube channel, so I think we get to decide. So Lizardfolk lifespan, they reach adulthood at about 15 years old, and they live to about 120 years. So not like way outside the realm of a human, but definitely close. And then the other interesting thing I found was that apparently their settlements are sometimes either partially or almost completely submerged in water, but I didn't see any evidence that they can like breathe underwater to that extent. They definitely have the ability to like hold their breath for a very long period of time, but they can't just breathe. I'd like to see like some art of what that settlement would look like, because I don't really know exactly how I would play that out as a GM.
Fan art in the comments.
I mean, I'll take that too, yeah. And then last roleplay thing, I got a list of names, and I just realized that I don't want to spend 45 minutes trying to pronounce them because...
Here, ready? Here are some example names on the screen. Now, Lizardfolk are an uncommon ancestry, so talk to your GM about getting them or wanting to be them before you start playing as them. They're going to have 8 hit points. They're also going to be a medium-sized creature, probably bordering on large.
I'd say so, yeah. And speaking of beefy lizard, their boosts are strength, wisdom, and a free boost, and their flaw is going to be in intelligence. Because like lizard brain, you know the saying lizard brain? Isn't that a thing that people say? That's not offensive, is it? I mean,
lizard people?
Lizards? I don't know. Leave me alone.
I'm sorry for our sentient lizard overlords who think... Wait, that gets away into conspiracy theory. Never mind. Let's be backtracking.
As for languages, you're going to know Common and Iruxi, which is the native Lizardfolk tongue, so just the tongue spoken in your own settlements, as well as any number of languages from either the list of common languages or this other list of Lizardfolk-specific languages. And you can choose any number of those equal to your int mod.
One of the other really cool things that you're going to be getting as a Lizardfolk is that you're going to have claws. So you're going to start off by being able to do 1d4 claw damage, slashing damage specifically. Kind of goes and was also one of the reasons why I was kind of mixing back and forth on my mutagen build. Having that unarmed attack is really kind of cool.
And that attack's also agile and finesse, which is really good. Having access to that kind of like... can't be disarmed, and it's agile, and it's finesse. Like, that's pretty good starting off. Lizardfolk have a few ancestry-specific traits, the first of which is called Aquatic Adaptation. This is going to give you the breath control feat, as like a free feat. Breath control is interesting because you're not able to breathe underwater as a Lizardfolk. You can hold your breath for 25 times longer than you normally would be able to.
I'm thinking like crocodiles or alligators who are underwater for a good amount of time and hunt underwater.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't think about it in that context. Maybe I am thinking of the wrong kind of lizard here. This feature also gives you a +1 circumstance bonus against inhaled threats, so that's like airborne toxins or like airborne diseases, something like that. Also, if you roll a success against an effect like that, you get a critical success instead. As like a base ancestry feature, pretty good.
I think they're strong. I think that's probably one of the reasons why they're uncommon.
Yeah.
Now that we have gone over the base ancestry, we're going to go into your heritage as a Lizardfolk and some of the options that you have. The first one that we're going to go over is the Unseen Lizardfolk. If your color of your Lizardfolk skin somewhat resembles your environment that you're in, you can get a +2 to your stealth checks. That's super vague. Not just super vague, but like it seems too nichey for me, right?
Yeah, part of your min-max, if that's something that you want to do, is going to be picking the correct color for your environment. But what if I just want to be purple? What if I want to be purple? And then the other side of it is like, what's close enough? In the book, it says something to the effect of, if you are green against a forest green background, or vice versa, I don't remember. But it's something like that. Do you see though?
Yeah.
It's a little bit too like, oh. That having been said, I don't know how they could have gotten away with phrasing it any other way, right? Like,
you could say that it's similar to the gnome, or the fact that it's similar to a gecko or a lizard that has the ability to change its skin tone.
They could have just literally said in the feature, this doesn't make you unrecognizable no matter how drastic the change is. And that would have just like nipped that in the bud. You're totally right. Because I can't think of any other way to abuse that. Next option you have is Wetlander Lizardfolk. This is going to just give you a 15-foot move speed. Just boom, there you go. For the rest of the game, here's your 15-foot move speed. Also, at level 5, you can upgrade that to 25 feet of move speed. Nope, what did I say? Swim. I should have said swim speed that whole time. You can also upgrade that swim speed to 25 feet at level 5 by taking an ancestry feat, with obviously Wetlander Lizardfolk as a prerequisite. I think it's pretty good. Swim speed's pretty strong, prevents you from having to make some athletics checks, so especially if that's not your forte, maybe that would be a good investment.
How awesome having that swim speed would it have been during the season while you guys were all on a boat? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The third option is going to be a Cliffscale Lizardfolk. This is a lizard that likes to climb things. Plain and simple. So as a part of this heritage, you're going to get the Combat Climber feat as a bonus feat. And what Combat Climber allows you to do is, one, it allows you to climb with one hand occupied. So you can, you still have to use your 2 feet, you still have to use one hand, but you can like wield something in your remaining appendage. But because you're getting this feature from the Lizardfolk heritage, you don't need to use any hands to climb. You just use your feet. It actually seems a little bit strong to me. Like, for example, you can be climbing up a thing and use both hands to manipulate an object with. So could I theoretically shoot a bow while I'm climbing?
Sounds
like I can. That seems pretty good.
I think it's very good in niche situations. And I think that's the kind of caveat.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, I'm only going to go into caves. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
this was all going through my head before, and the thing that I realized after I thought about it for a bit was it doesn't say that you can climb things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to climb. Like, for example, it doesn't say you can scale vertical surfaces. On a normally climbable thing, you can do a little bit more than your average character would be able to do, which is reasonable.
Yeah, it's not giving you a climb speed.
It's not giving you a climb speed, although you can get one, and it's not changing what your climb speed applies to it. And lastly, if you roll a success on a climb check, you get a critical success instead. That's always nice to have.
Nothing's worse than being like, I'm the climber, right? Like, I'm the dude that climbs. That's all I do. And then you start climbing up and you nat one it, right? And you're just like, but I'm the climber.
Well, it's not even like, this is the opposite. This is like, no, you just need to succeed, and then you can do the awesome stuff that nobody else can do.
Well, the next heritage we're going to go over is the Frilled Lizardfolk. It allows them to use their presence to be able to scare someone. So it removes the auditory requirement for demoralizing, because you're just kind of bulking up and getting big, and you're just like, what? Come at me. Normally there's a penalty if they don't know your language. You're not going to have to deal with that anymore. Then you're also going to get Threatening Approach, which is a 2-action ability that allows you to stride up to an enemy and be adjacent to them. You get to demoralize them right in their face. When you do that, it actually makes them frightened 2 instead of a frightened 1 when you do that action. When we did the one-shot with Paizo, the what was it, Norgabur's Shadow?
Yep.
I actually built Molly's character to be just the scariest mofo ever.
Oh yeah, because Molly was like a tanky, wasn't she?
And in Croog, in our home game, our sorcerer has that.
Oh, nice.
Sway.
Nice.
Don't ask me why our little tiny mushroom person that's a sorcerer has the ability to do that, but choices were made.
Have you ever seen a fungus that you can't identify? Because it's pretty scary. I'm just throwing that out there. You don't know if you can breathe it in. You don't know if you can touch it. You don't know what it does.
Especially if it's sentient and moves towards
yeah,
you.
and then if it starts to speak, then you need to go lay down for a bit.
You're like, well, I'm already hot, so
may as well look at it again. The last of your options is Sandstrider Lizardfolk. This is the only one in the Lizardfolk heritage list that has a downside, which is kind of interesting to me. Yeah. First of all, you're going to gain fire resistance equal to half your level, minimum 1. I think that's supremely useful.
Fire, everything is fire.
Yeah, when magic does damage, why not fire? You're also going to be able to reduce the severity of heat-based environmental effects against you by 1, but it's going to be 1 step more severe if it's a cold effect. That's reasonable, but it is significant in that it is the only one with a very active downside. And then here's the other weird part. Last feature of Sandstrider. You can go 10 times longer than normal without suffering the effects of starvation or thirst. 10 times longer than normal without suffering the effects of starvation or thirst. So like, think about that. It's so long. It's so long. And then here's the other thing. Give me 1 second. I have to look this up because I forgot to write down what it says. Real quick, I'm just going to read this to you because I can't memorize it. There's a Lizardfolk feat called Parthenogenic Hatchling. Please let me know how I did on that pronunciation down in the comments. It's a level 1 feat, and it basically it says exactly, you were hatched from an unfertilized egg during hard times for your people, and you are a biological clone of your mother. That wasn't necessary for me to tell you, but I thought it was worth it because that's interesting that can happen.
That is really cool.
Yeah, right? You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saving throws against diseases. Neat. Each of your successful saving throws against a disease reduces its stage by 2 or by 1 for virulent diseases. Neat. Each critical success against an ongoing disease reduces its stage by 3 or by 2 for a virulent disease. Neat. You take damage only every 2 hours from thirst and every 2 days from starvation rather than every hour and every day. So does that mean that with the 10 times longer than normal, if I take Sandstrider, that I'm multiplying the 1 hour and 1 day by 10, or am I multiplying 2 hours and 2 days by 10? That's a lot. That's a lot of time. It's just, I don't know what to say. That's a long time.
Yeah. I love it though. Just that, like the little description that you gave me so many different ideas for builds. Immediately, I thought of Jurassic Park, and in my head, I started saying da-da-da. But I'm not gonna keep going because we don't need that copyright.
Even that small portion's getting bleeped out.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a really cool like origin story for like a necromancer. Like,
oh, that's neat.
Right?
That's neat. Like,
right?
But that's actually super cool. I didn't even come close to thinking about that.
All right, thank you all so much for being patient for us over the quarantine and everything that's going on. There is still a lot that we need to figure out since I'm using a mic stand and my notes are here and Croog.
I've been holding my microphone in my hands this whole time.
If you want to get a hold of us, the best way you can get a hold of us is going on Twitter. We are @_QueueTimes. You can talk to us there, or you can join our Discord server where we are on. You can tag us. There's a community there that we are slowly growing. We have people talking about RPGs all the time. We have people talking about our shows, which I do want to talk about our shows a little bit. Croog and I are a part of a show called Court of Corvids, which is a Pathfinder 2nd edition actual play. We're in episode in our 20s. I want to say I can't remember off the top of my head.
I have no idea.
And they have had some very fun adventures thus far. And by fun, I mean horrific and probably traumatizing. And I really love it. I'm the GM of that show. Croog plays a monk. He actually mentioned the artwork that we have coming forward. Hopefully we'll be able to see that really soon, or release that really soon. I'm very, very excited about that. But we also have William and Jonas, who plays on that show, and Molly, who are all wonderful, wonderful people on that. Oh, we also have a private Discord server that you can join us on and play adventures. We actually have games going on, like, I want to say at least a couple times a week, if not once a week, where people are playing, and we are doing this whole entire adventure that takes place in the world of Court of Corvids, and they're tangentially, some of the things that happen on the server happen in the game, and some of the things that happen in the game happen on the server, and it's really, really fun, and I really, really like it. The way you get on that is if you become a patron on our Patreon for $5. It is just a one-time thing. You sign up once, you pay the $5, you get access to the server, and there you go. That's how it's done.
Or you can alternatively continue to give us $5.
Yes,
it's up to you.
Absolutely,
it's up to you.
I'm not going to refuse that $5 moving forward.
I will also say, if you need the $5, you keep those $5.
If you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on our Discord server, or you can get a hold of me on Twitter, which is @IndigoQT.
And if you want to talk to me on Twitter, don't DM me on Discord instead. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
But my Twitter is @CroogQT, but I don't. Just Discord, please.
Look, he doesn't respond to Discord messages nonetheless.
If you at me on Discord, of course I do. I can literally prove it in this video. I could literally copy paste
the one time he responded.
It's gonna be like 2018.